Welcome to Section 1.2, Part 2. This is the third session of the CISSP exam prep series. This part picks up where the last one left off, moving from the goals of security to the machinery that enforces them. In this session, we'll unpack the mechanics behind access and control. We'll answer several questions. How does the system know who you are? How does it prove that claim? How does it decide what you can touch? How does it record what you did and hold you responsible? And what design tricks make controls stronger and simpler? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because these steps run silently every time anyone signs in. Picture a courier logging into a warehouse app to scan a package. The moment they tap their badge, 5 things happen in sequence, and every one has to hold. If any single link is weak, you cannot trust the record of who moved what. On the job, this chain is the difference between a solid investigation and a shrug. How does a system first know who you are? Through identification. Identification is simply claiming an identity, nothing more. You might type a username, tap a smart card, wave a proximity fob, or present your face to a scanner. The system needs this label so it can attach everything that follows to one account. Think of signing your name at a front desk. You have announced who you are, but you have not yet proven it. How does the system prove that claim is real? Through authentication. Authentication is the test that verifies the identity you just claimed. You supply something extra that only the real account holder should have, most commonly a password. The system compares that factor against its record and either accepts or rejects it. Weak factors mean weak trust, and passwords alone are the easiest to defeat. Picture the front desk asking for a photo badge before letting you through the gate. How does the system decide what you are allowed to touch? Through authorization. Once you are authenticated, authorization sets the boundaries of what you can do. Being known and being trusted does not mean you can reach everything. You might read a report but not delete it, or open an app but see none of its data. It is not all or nothing like the first 2 steps. It flexes per resource. Think of a hotel keycard that opens your room and the gym, but not the manager's office. How does the system record what you actually did? Through auditing. Auditing is the programmatic recording of a subject's actions into logs. Those logs become an audit trail you can replay to reconstruct an intrusion, a failure, or a fraud. It also surfaces abnormal activity that should not be happening. One clarification that trips people up. Monitoring is the act of watching, while auditing is writing that activity into a durable record. You can watch without recording, but you cannot audit without watching first. Picture a store's cameras feeding a recorder that keeps the footage. How does the system hold someone responsible? Through accounting. Accounting is where accountability finally lands, reviewing the records to tie actions back to a real person. It leans on every earlier step, because a name in a log only matters if the login behind it was truly that person. This is why strong authentication is so important. If all you had was a guessable password, a court could reasonably doubt who was at the keyboard. Combine several factors, and that doubt nearly disappears. Think of a signed delivery slip backed by a photo and a timestamp. Now, what design tricks make controls stronger and simpler? A handful of protection mechanisms sit under many controls. The big 4 are defense in depth, abstraction, data hiding, and encryption. You will not build every control from these, but you will meet them constantly. Think of them as the reusable building blocks behind good security design. Keep them in mind as we walk through each one. What is defense in depth? It is layering multiple controls in a series, one after another. No single control stops every threat, so you stack several so a failure in one does not expose everything behind it. The order matters. In a series, every attack must pass through each layer in turn, so each one gets a chance to catch it. Parallel checkpoints are wide but shallow, and a threat can slip through the one gate that ignores it. A related idea is diversity of defense, using products from different vendors so one shared floor cannot topple several layers at once. Picture a castle with a moat, a wall, and a locked keep, each guarding the next. What is abstraction? It is grouping similar things so you can secure them together. Instead of assigning rights to each user or object one at a time, you sort them into roles or classes and apply controls to the whole group. Add a new hire to the finance role, and they inherit every permission that role already carries. This is the same idea that powers object-oriented programming, where you use something through a clean interface without knowing its inner workings. Think of assigning a department badge color, and every door reads the color instead of memorizing each face. What is data hiding? It is deliberately placing data where a subject cannot see it or reach it. This is stronger than merely keeping something out of sight. The subject is genuinely blocked from the compartment. It might keep a low-clearance user away from higher classified files, or stop an application from poking directly at hardware. Do not confuse it with security through obscurity, which just hopes nobody stumbles onto an unprotected secret. Obscurity is digital hide and seek with no real lock. Data hiding is a real lock. Think of storing sensitive files in a vault that certain staff cannot even open. What is encryption? It is scrambling the meaning of a communication so unintended recipients cannot read it. It applies across every kind of electronic message and stored file, turning readable content into something useless to anyone without the key. It is the workhorse behind confidentiality in transit and at rest. Think of writing in a private code that only the intended reader can decode. So let's bring it together. Identification claims who you are, and authentication proves it. Authorization decides what you may touch. Auditing records what you did. And accounting holds you responsible for it. Underneath the controls sit 4 reusable mechanisms. Defense in depth layers your protection. Abstraction groups things for efficient control. Data hiding locks data out of reach. And encryption scrambles meaning from prying eyes. Master this chain and these building blocks, and every control you meet later will slot right in. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.